Welcome to Career Karma. So we were discussing something and I said, let's make a video about it. You were asking?
Yeah, why is it that some people study something else and their career they make up in some other field?
Wow, that's such a good question. You have that question also?
Yeah.
So I want to show you the astrological chart just to give you an example what all we look when we're doing a career reading. So when we're doing a career reading, we look at the nature of the individual, which is like the lagna. The first house gives us an idea about their temperaments, their interests. Like in this case, it's like a very quick learner type of a lagna. They're very creative, they're very fast, things like that. So that gives an indication that these people will be interested in so many subjects. Gemini being the Lord as well, they'll be good with many subject matters. So they'll be very good at studies. Okay. So first consideration is we tell the person, look, studying, don't just think of education in terms of certificate. This kind of people will not end up in a 9-to-5 job. No. So we look at the fifth house also. Fifth house gives us an indication about their creativity. Fifth house is also about education. And then we understand what planets are there. So Saturn being in the fifth house, formal education, those kind of things will be like very tough for them. They'll get very easily bored. Right. So in some cases, what happens is like the 10th house, right? The 10th house is the house of dharma or career. What they'll end up doing. Traditionally, people would do what their parents did. What the father did, that the son will continue doing. Right? That was the traditional varnashram system. But nowadays, we actually look at the Lord of the 10th house and then we see the position. What position is the Lord of 10th house? And in this case, the Lord of 10th house is exalted. So this person is not going to work under somebody. So there's no point in going and studying some subject matters which they have to go and beg a job with somebody. They'll likely do some education related private teaching, coaching. This would be their thing. So we usually, and then we also look at their dasha cycle, what time period they're going through. So what usually happens is some people, they may be going through Mercury period. So they're very much interested in accumulating certificates, all useless sometimes. They won't even be able to use those actually for career. So that's what happens. And then we also see the Dashamsha. Dashamsha is actually, has a lot of secrets about career. Like each division reveals something. This reveals your life purpose, your nature. And this reveals your marriage karma. This reveals your children karma. And this reveals your career. And also the Lord of the, in this case, the Lord of the 10th house is Jupiter, but the Lord of the 10th house also reveals a lot in terms of, like I have a friend of mine who has Saturn, and Saturn is not so well positioned also. So she studied degree and then she did a master degree and, but she never got a job. And now she's like 40 years old and she never got a job. Yeah. So then we tried to understand. So she had education in terms of certificates karma, but she was supposed to in her 20s itself start working, not just keep studying. Wow. Then after 30, her karma kind of for work got blocked. And psychologically speaking, also when Saturn return happens, like 28 years, Saturn will return. We become very stubborn. So she couldn't work under anybody. She couldn't so she never worked. And so much the father took loans to get her education and complete the education. So we see different factors. We see the first house, we see the fifth house, we see the 10th house, and then we also see the Dashamsha, and we also see what period they're going through. So we can guide them accordingly. Many times people will enter Saturn period. Whatever they've studied, they have to pack their bags and put it up there for 18 years. They'll have nothing to do with what they studied. They'll have to go and work in HR or something, although they studied architecture. Wow. One chart I recently saw, and they may hate their job. So if early on you get a career consultation done, early on we can actually tell people, look, this is your inclination, this is your karma. Maybe you can study for the sake of learning, but don't stress. You were sharing like how much stress.
Yes. And even I did my engineering, but then my career was in online marketing, completely different.
That's interesting. Yeah, it would be interesting to see what's in the fifth and what period you were going through. Yeah. Because some kids, they're going through like a happy period, very happy period in their childhood. and we try to like cut them down or tie them. They don't know, they shouldn't express creatively, they should only do this. Then we are actually cutting their wings. But in childhood, their interests are very important. And and these days, kids come with their natives, of technology.
Yes.
In the womb only, they know how to use the phone.
True.
Right? As soon as the babies are born, they know how to use phones. So career reading really helps you understand the nature of the child, the yogas, what kind of yogas are present in the child's chart. And recently I did father was very concerned about the child. I did a reading, and that person will make money, will have business. So he doesn't need to push the child to do some studies where he has to go and beg a job from someone, because he's not going to do it anyway.
Oh, okay.
Better he let him do what he likes to.
Yeah, yes, because then unnecessary stressing the kid also, yourself also.
I think mostly that happens with Indians.
Yes.
I think Western people don't force their children to.
Yes, I agree.
But I think for Western people, it's more like they may not use the opportunities of time, and they may miss it, and then they may miss chances.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, that's a short video.
Thank you.